So welcome everybody and happy Halloween. I'm so excited to do this class today. We're going to, of course, be making some pumpkin popcorn balls. So they're going to be nice and festive for the holiday, shaped like pumpkins. I'm Kelly from Culikid, and so for those of you who don't know me, hi and welcome. And I just have a few things to just go over. Hi. Um, we are recording, so I just want to make sure you're all aware of that. You'll be able to get the recording at the end, so you can make this recipe again if you'd like. But also just want you to know so that way if you don't want to be on camera, you can turn your camera off, or just let us know and we can block you off so that way it's not shared. We'll also take some screenshots and those will be put on social media and on the website. So again, like also if you want to turn your camera back on just here and there to show us something, that's great. And then we will, and just let us know that you don't want to be in any screenshots. So everyone is muted, but you can use the chat to communicate if you have questions. And we can start by practicing using the chat right now by typing in your name and if you're dressed up as somebody for Halloween today, or you will dress up, who you are. So I'll start that. Please feel free to continue introducing yourselves in the chat. We also have volunteer Doug on with us today, who will help me facilitate as far as reading your questions in the chat. So sometimes he might come off mute and help us that way. So if you also have a question here and there, please unmute yourself again or use the chat. So I also wanted to just let you know that Culikid's next class will be on November 21st. We just announced it. It's going to be a Thanksgiving themed class with cranberry and brie, nice and festive for the upcoming holiday. And lastly, if you're cooking at home, especially in your cool costumes, and somebody's cooking with you, rather, please have them take some pictures and send them to us afterwards. You can either tag us on social media or you can email us. And so that, as well as the link to our next class, is going to be put into the chat a little bit later on. So I see, okay, Issa is dressed as a zombie. Cool, Issa. Hi. Hi, Caitlin. Hello. Bellamy is Maleficent. Ariana is Scooby-Doo. Very cool. Awesome. Okay, so feel free to keep using the chat if you want to introduce yourselves or ask any questions. But we're just about ready to get started. But I want to ask you some questions first that you'll think about and come up with a plan in your mind. So first question is, is everybody using popcorn, or is there anybody using something else like Rice Krispies? So you can either show me or let me know in the chat if you're doing anything different than popcorn. That would be really helpful to know. I see popcorn from Ariana. I'm going to assume if I didn't see anything or hear anything that everybody else is doing popcorn too. Noah is dressed up as a tigress. Very cool, from Kung Fu Panda. Awesome, Noah. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody's using popcorn, which is great because we'll all have the same measurements. The next question for you to think about is if any of your ingredients have salt in them. So you want to check your popcorn to see if it's salted, or you want to check your butter. So if either of those two have salt, then you do not need to add salt. So if they do have salt, then we'll add a little pinch of salt later. So think about those questions and get ready to add salt if you need it or skip it if you don't. And let me know if you have any questions now or when we get to it. Last thing is that we are going to be using the stove today, which we know we have to be really careful about. So we have two choices for when we combine our popcorn and our marshmallows. Is one, you can put your marshmallows into the bowl of popcorn, or you can put your popcorn into the pot of marshmallows. So if you're going to move it from the pot to the bowl, make sure that's where you have some help. So that's going to be hard to do, to hold the bowl and scrape it out. So make sure you're being careful and you have help. If you're going to use your pot and you're just going to mix it right in there, make sure you have a place for your pot to go. that's not the stove where you're going to be working. So you might want to put down like a towel or a pot holder to make sure that your surface is protected from the heat. Okay, so think about that and come up with your plan. And now we're truly ready to get started. And if anybody has any questions about that, if that was confusing, let me know. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do, my stove takes a long time to heat up. So I'm going to put my burner on right now to just get this ready for us. If you have a gas stove, it probably heats up pretty quickly and you can maybe hold off to do that a little bit later. So I'm just turning it on to medium heat. Just nice and basic. It's just going to be to melt some butter and some marshmallows. Now we are ready to measure our first ingredient, which is going to be our popcorn. So everybody grab your popcorn, a large mixing bowl, and a 1 cup measuring cup. Okay, so we want to measure 6 cups of popcorn. Okay, so we can scoop it in. And we'll do nice and level to the top and put in 1. Now this is 2. 3. 4. Now I'm going to switch to pouring. 5. And 6. Okay. And I still have some popcorn left in my bag, which I'm going to hold on to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our 6 cups. And then once we mix it into our marshmallows, if it ends up that it's too sticky, you might need a little bit more popcorn. So we have some on the side in case your particular mixture needs more. With popcorn, when you measure it, you have like a lot of space between all of these. So even though we are measuring it, it might be a little bit different based on how full your cup got or the size of your particular popcorn. So that's why we're going to start with that and reserve our popcorn. I'm just looking to see if everybody is ready to move on to our next step. Is everybody have their popcorn measured? Let's get a thumbs up if you're ready. No, okay, so we still need at least one person needs more time, so that's fine. So we'll give it a minute. So remember it's 6 cups. And we will need our 1 cup measuring cup again. So we're gonna use that for our marshmallows in a little bit. Okay, I got another thumbs up, so I see somebody else is ready. And Caitlin, you're ready too? Okay, awesome. So I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody? Does anybody need more time? Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is prepare some of the things we're going to mix into our marshmallows. So we want to make sure we have everything all ready, so that way we don't spend any time once that we're ready to put it in. So I'm going to use this little prep bowl, and we're going to start by measuring our pumpkin pie spice. This is optional. So you can add the pumpkin pie spice blend to this to give it a nice little fall kind of cinnamony, spicy taste. And it's just a little bit, so it won't be too much. But again, it's optional if you want to. So you're going to take your, I don't know if I said this yet, half a teaspoon. You can try a little bit less if you're not sure. So we're using half a teaspoon. Scoop some out. Make sure it's right to the top and it's not over. If it is over, you just use your finger to go across the top to wipe off the extra. And we're gonna put that into our little prep bowl. Okay. Next, we're going to use the same measuring spoon, the half teaspoon, to do vanilla extract into that same prep bowl. Okay, so this one You're pouring into, yes.
I'm sorry, the pumpkin spice, did we put it in the popcorn already or just in the little bowl?
In the little prep bowl.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's going to, when we're ready, get mixed in with our marshmallow mixture. That's going to go in once they're melted. So I've got pumpkin pie spice, half a teaspoon, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract in my prep bowl.
Excuse me?
Yes.
What do we do next? I put my popcorn in the bowl.
You put your popcorn in your bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to use pumpkin pie spice?
No.
No? Okay. So then, did you measure your vanilla extract yet?
How much vanilla?
It's going to be half a teaspoon. So that would be your next step.
Okay.
So you use half a teaspoon, measure your vanilla extract, and then put it into a little prep bowl. Okay. Is everybody with us? Any other questions? Okay. So I know that everybody might still be working on those measurements, but the next step is going to be salt. And I know not everybody is doing this, so I'm just going to go over this really quick and then let me know if you have any questions. In that same prep bowl, if you do need salt, which you need salt if your butter and your popcorn don't have salt, pour a little bit into your hand and just add a pinch. So the way that you do that is you take these 3 fingers, 1, 2, and your thumb, and you just grab it, and then you'll put that into your prep bowl. You just sprinkle it in. I don't need salt because my ingredients have it, but I would just put it right into my prep bowl. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it, is pour it into your hand first so you don't pour too much out. If you have like a salt shaker, you could just do a little sprinkle, 1, 2, 3, depending on how fast it comes out. Okay, so again, in what we've done so far is we have popcorn in a large bowl, and we have pumpkin pie spice, vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt if you're using it in your prep bowl. Okay. Can I get a thumbs up if you are ready for the next step? Okay, I think I got a lot. I'm not sure. Oh, good. Okay, I think that's everybody. Great. So now what we're going to do, again, because we want to be all ready, is we're going to prep our pumpkin stems and our pumpkin leaves. So what is everybody using for their pumpkin leaves? Can you either hold it up or tell us in the chat? I'm using these green airheads. I see Isa has some kind of green candy, Laffy Taffy for some. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and open one of those to start. An airhead too, Caitlin? Yeah. So we're opening that up, and we're just going to cut triangles. So I have these kitchen scissors here. Ariana's just doing stems. Okay, no problem. So just wait a minute until we get to that step. So I'm gonna use kitchen scissors nice and carefully to cut out triangles. So I'm going to just cut here, like, because it's already on an angle, I can just do one cut. And that's kind of like a little leaf, little triangle. So, and you can keep just cutting those. If you don't have kitchen scissors or they're not ready, you can use a knife, but you just want to be careful. And then you would just cut it on the cutting board. So I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I'm going to just keep cutting these into triangles. Okay, so when I have a square, I get to cut it. I'm kind of cutting it like this on an angle. And then once I have an angle, I just cut it straight. And see, I have a bunch of different little triangles here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That might be enough. I think we're gonna make about 6, but we could have, depending on your size, as many as 8 or 10. So it depends on the size that you're making them. So just to be safe, so I have everything ready, I'm gonna do one more. So I wanna have at least 10 leaves, just so I'm really ready. Okay. Okay, now I have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great, that is more than enough for us. So, and they're all a little bit different sizes and different shapes, but they're leaves. So leaves come in all different sizes and everything. So they can be any size you want. And if you want to, if you have some time, you can kind of press these candies to make them even more leaf-like. If you want to give them a little bit more character, it's up to you. We do kind of want like this flat surface because that's going to get pushed up against our stem for it to go on. So it would go onto our stem like this when we're ready. Is everybody done with their leaves? Get a thumbs up if you're done with leaves. Thumbs down from at least one person. So we're going to give a couple more minutes. Not a problem. I'm going to do some tidying up in the meantime. I've got my garbage I've got to get rid of. No, we still need more time, but for anybody who is ready, grab what you're using for your pretzel stems. Noah's done. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Noah. And then, I know we made extra, but then once we see how many pumpkins we end up making, we can eat the extra. Okay. Thumbs up. Okay, good. I think that's everybody. Everyone's ready? Okay, so is anybody using anything different than pretzel rods for their stems? I see some pretzel rods. Okay, we have some little pretzel rods, some thinner pretzel rods. What is that? Oh, cowtails. Yum. Tootsie Rolls. Okay, great. Okay, so for your Tootsie Rolls, you'll probably just use one each. So you can just unwrap them so they're ready to go. So unwrap at least 10 Tootsie Rolls. And then for our cowtails and our pretzel rods, we're going to either cut or break them with our hands. So I kind of want to do this into 4 pieces. So what I'm going to do first is find the middle and break it. Okay, it's not exactly even, that's okay. Remember, our pumpkins are all going to be different and they have different size stems. And then I'm going to take each half and break it again. Okay, that was one half, and then this is the other half. So now I have 4 pieces. Okay, and again, they're all different. That's okay. We want our pumpkins to be unique. And then I'm going to do that with 2 more pretzel rods because I need to have at least 10. Remember, I want to have at least 10. So I'm going to break it in half again. If the cowtails are too soft to break in half with your hands, you could use a knife, but you could also probably use your kitchen scissors again. So you cut it in half and then cut each half in half. Okay. For your thinner pretzel rods, maybe break them in half, or you might be able to just stick the whole thing in all the way down to the bottom of your pumpkin. So it depends on how you want to do that. And again, remember for the Tootsie Rolls that you just want to open them up. Okay, so you might still be working, but this is what I have. So I have this little station here of what I'm going to use at the end. So I've got my leaves ready and I've got my stems ready, and I'm just going to put this over to the side. Okay. And the last thing you can do to get ready for forming our pumpkins is to get a piece of parchment paper and put that on. I have a cutting board because it's nice and flat. You can put it on a flat tray or plate. The parchment paper is going to make sure that the sticky marshmallows don't stick to your surface. Okay, so that's our last thing we want to do before we move on to our stove. Can we use wax paper instead? Yes. Thank you, Doug. I was just reading that too. So the question from Noah is, can we use wax paper instead? If that's all you have, you can. I've tried it with both actually, and the marshmallows do tend to stick to the wax paper, which is a little strange to me. But so if you do use wax paper, just make sure that when you take them off at the end, you're being careful that it's not sticking, and you might just need to reform your pumpkins a little bit, but you can use that.
Kelly, do you think it will help if we like spray the wax paper with Pam or something? Or no?
Yeah. You could definitely do that. So you can definitely use your non-stick spray to spray your surface if you are worried about it sticking. That's what we're going to use a little bit later for our hands, and it's a great way for it to non-stick. I'm going to give everybody a minute to get ready. Let me get a thumbs up from everybody when you're ready for the next step, which is going to be our stove. Okay, I see a few thumbs up, a few not thumbs up. Okay, awesome, thanks. Okay, I actually think we're ready. Isa, are you ready? Is that a thumbs up? Awesome. Okay, so I think we're actually ready. If you haven't turned your stove on yet, do that now. Now let's get ready for, oops. We will need our marshmallows. A cup. I'm going to be moving stations here, so I'm getting ready next to my stove. Marshmallows and a 1 cup measuring cup. What we measured into our prep bowl. Food coloring. So if you want to make your pumpkins orange, you have orange food coloring, or what other 2 colors make orange? Does anybody know? I see somebody has yellow. Maybe that is orange. Is that orange, Ariana, or is that yellow? It looks like Isa has that too. So Isa has what I have. So we have red and yellow can make our orange. Okay, sorry if I missed other people too. So you, and then I see, oh, okay, somebody has orange. Ariana, I see you have both now. Great, awesome. So red and yellow are gonna make our orange. We're gonna put that next to our stove. And we need something to mix it with. I have this silicone spatula, which is heat resistant, which is good. And we need our butter, last thing. So we're going to use 4 tablespoons of butter, which this already is, but if you have a full stick and need to measure it, each stick has little markers on it where your tablespoons are. So either it will say 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons. Find that mark, take a knife, and you can just cut right through the paper actually if you want to. And or it might just measure each individual tablespoon, so you'll have to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to unwrap this and get it ready for our stove. So now I'm going to move you all with me for a minute. So that way you can see my stove. Okay. Trying to get set up here. All right, so everybody being nice and careful. We are going to start by adding our 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay. Mine's browning a little bit, so I'm going to take it off the heat for a minute. We don't want it to burn. And then we're going to add our marshmallows. So we are going to add 4 cups of marshmallows. So I've got 1 cup. 2. 3. And 4. Okay, and that's all that's going into our pot right now. What we're going to do is mix it up. And while you're mixing, it might be helpful for you to have an oven mitt or pot holder in case your handles are hot. So my stove is back on the heat now. Okay, and we are melting our marshmallows. So right now they all still look like they have their marshmallow shape. And now soon they're going to start getting sticky. Okay, and you need a really big pot like this if you're putting the popcorn right in here. If you're going to move your marshmallows and put them in into the bowl, you can do it in a smaller pot. Okay, so our marshmallows are kind of puffing up, but they still have their shape, so we still need to keep going. Okay. How's everybody doing? Any questions? And we're being nice and safe with the heat at the stove, making sure not to burn ourselves. So depending on how hot yours is, maybe your marshmallows are already melted. Not, oh, thank you. Okay, mine are getting there. So they're starting to become kind of more one shape altogether, but I still see some of my marshmallows are holding their form. So I'm still going for a little bit. Did I know? Oh, thank you, Doug, for answering that question. No food coloring just yet. It's going to be the very next thing we do, which my marshmallows are ready. Okay, so this is what they look like. Okay, kind of like liquid, a little goopy. You want to make sure that they're all melted and you don't see any full marshmallows still there. As soon as they're done, I'm taking it off of the burner. I'm still on my stove, but I'm on a burner that's not hot. And I am ready to add my food coloring. And so I'll go over this if anybody is at a different pace than us, but mine is ready. So I'm going to keep going and anybody who's ready can do it with me. I'm going to do one more yellow drop than red because I like that color for my orange. So I'm going to start by doing 4 yellows. And so you be nice and careful and just gently press this if you have this kind of food coloring, and you just do 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. And for my red, I'm going to do 3. You can do them completely even if you like. I just like a little bit yellower. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to see how that comes out. And if we want, I need my oven mitt back again. If we want it to be darker, oh, this is so cool. Can you guys see that? So it gets streaky. And when you're mixing in your food coloring, you want it to become all one color, no more streaks. Okay, this is a really good orange. I like this. So again, if you might have different coloring, so go on the lighter side. If you have orange already made, try with 3, maybe 4, and see. So now I've got orange marshmallows. Okay, so that's going to be the color of our pumpkins. Okay, and now that I have my food coloring in, I'm ready to add the rest. My spices and my vanilla and my salt. So I'm just going to scoop this out. And I need my pot holder back again. And again, mix until it's all looks uniform, which means all the same. So we don't have any glops of spice. Okay. So I know that went a little quick. I'm not sure if everybody was with me that full time. Did everybody add their coloring and their spice? I've got some thumbs up. Nope, not yet. Okay, cool. All right, so let me know if you need me to repeat anything for anybody who hasn't gotten to that step, in case you missed it. While we're waiting, I'm gonna, again, tidy up my station a little bit. Throw out my butter wrapper and make sure we put our lids back on our food coloring, because you don't want to knock those over and anything stain. We did it. Awesome, Noah. We did. Okay, so if you are ready, this is the place where you're going to add your popcorn. Okay, so again, you're either going into the bowl or you're going the bowl into the pot. So I'm going to re-situate myself. Okay, take you with me over here. And take this off of our burner. Be nice and careful. All right, so our popcorn is going to go in. Okay, so I poured in my whole bowl, which is our 6 cups. And mix. Okay. Now that the marshmallows are nice and sticky, it's actually getting a little hard for me to use that silicone spatula because it is flexible. So I'm switching to a wooden spoon. So if you find it difficult with your mixing utensil, just grab one that's a little bit sturdier, and this is a lot better. So this is going to take some muscle. All right, so we have this like crazy sticky concoction. We want it to all be the same, right? So we want it to all be coated and look orange like our pumpkins. Okay, this is, and it does take some work. So if you need some help and you want to switch off with the people that you're working with, that might be a good idea. This is taking a lot of muscles even for Wonder Woman, so. Oh, Noah, I see, has all of her muscles, so she can do it. Awesome. Okay, and I'm feeling like mine might want a little bit more popcorn. It's really sticky. The reason that I'm deciding that is because it's really sticky. Let's see, can you see this? and kind of like falling apart. It's gonna be falling apart a little bit anyway because we didn't pack it together, but it seems like there's a lot of extra marshmallow on mine. See how when I do this, oh, it just did it before. You can kind of see like a lot of big stretch. So I'm gonna add like just a little bit extra popcorn to try to get that right consistency. Okay. Okay, just a little bit more again. So we're just starting. You can always add more. Okay. If you don't have enough of your popcorn in the mix, it's going to be harder for it to all stick together. But even if you do have extra marshmallow, I have a good trick for you at the end to help you get it to stay solid, okay? All right, so mine is done. Who else is done? Give me a thumbs up if you're done mixing. And it's okay if you're not. Okay, I got a couple, Isa and Noah and Caitlin and Ariana. Bellamy, thumbs down, so you're still mixing, no problem. Can I see what it's supposed to look like? Of course, Julie. So I'm gonna try to show you my whole pot, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to, then I'll try to scoop some. So this is what mine looks like. You can see like, it's still not quite together. This could even potentially get some more popcorn. If it has like a lot of this extra marshmallow to it, go ahead and add some more popcorn if you think that that would mix in well. The more popcorn you have, the better it's going to be. It's not going to be quite sticking together yet because it still is warm. But this is what mine looks like all in the bowl. This is just a little sample. Okay, so if you did get anything on your hands like I just did, go ahead and wash your hands so they're not sticky. We got ready for our next spot, for our next task. So I'm going to take a minute and wash up.
Should I add more popcorn? I don't.
Let's see. It looks like you could add a little bit more. You could probably get a little bit more to stick in there, but again, it's not the end of the world if it's not exactly perfect. So don't stress too much. We'll have a way at the end to help it all stay together. So that being said too, while we make our popcorn balls, some of our other popcorn balls that we already made might start falling apart a little bit. That's okay, okay? So just keep an eye on them, squish them back together if you need to, and it's all fixable, so it's no worries. Is everybody ready to start forming popcorn balls? Oh, let me see. I can't really tell. Can you like pull some? I think that looks pretty good. I think you're good.
Excuse me,
Yes.
is mine okay?
Let me see. Oh, yours looks like it's already one big popcorn ball. I think that's good. That's really sticking together. Yours looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is everybody ready to form popcorn balls? Ready means that you're done mixing. I got some thumbs up. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I think I saw yeses from everybody. Let me know either in the chat or unmuting if I miss somebody and you're not ready. Okay, what we're gonna do to make it a lot easier, this might not be so pleasant at first, but it's gonna make it so much easier. We're going to take some non-stick cooking spray and spray it onto our hands, okay? If you don't wanna do that and you have gloves, then go ahead and put your gloves on and spray your gloves, okay? So we always wanna give it a good shake. And this is where it's gonna get sticky, no pun intended. for me too, because I'm gonna have like, my hands are all gonna be crazy. So this is where, if you have questions in the chat, Doug is really gonna help us out because I can't touch anything. Okay, so just spray your hands. And then, so I don't get the other side dirty, I'm just gonna touch that. Now our popcorn should be cooled down enough where I'm just gonna grab a handful, and that's how I'm judging how much I'm using, is I took a handful, however much fits in my hand. A little bit more, and form it together. Grab your stem that is all ready and stick that in the top and form your ball around your stem. Okay, looks good. Looks good. Everybody who I can see, Noah and Caitlin and Ariana and Isa, Heather, Bellamy. Good job, guys. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with that one. I'm going to put it down onto my parchment paper and get ready for the next one. I know we don't have leaves on yet, but it's going to be easiest to do that at the end. Okay, so then keep forming until you're done with your popcorn mixture. I grabbed a handful, put in my stem, and it doesn't matter what size they are. If you want to make them little and like nice and cute, you want to make sure you make a lot, then go ahead and make them any size you want. So it's really as a ball. You can kind of squish it around if you want them to be different sizes. Okay, and put that onto our parchment paper. All right, keep grabbing some popcorn. And I've got my handful. Before I even form it into a really tight ball, I put my stem in. Okay, and I'm still keeping an eye on my other popcorn balls on my tray. Right now, they're all staying together. So they're good, but if they do start to fall apart, just smush them back. Okay, so far, this is my fourth one. I think I'm making them a little bit smaller than I had first anticipated. So if you do make them small, you might need some extra stems and leaves. And then when I'm putting them down on my tray too, I'm just like pushing them down a little bit to have a flat bottom. So when I put them here, make sure that they can stand up. So if they're too much of a ball when you make them, then just flatten them down. And if your hands start to become too sticky, just go ahead and spray them again. Actually, mine are becoming a little sticky, so I'm going to spray, wipe them around, and keep going. Because it gets really challenging when you don't have the grease on your hands when you then you get your marshmallows all stuck. So is everyone doing okay? No questions coming in? Okay. Yep. So far I'm on to my 8th popcorn ball, and I think that 10 was the right guess for me. So I don't think I'm going to need any more stems or leaves, which is good that we're all prepared. Mine are kind of all different sizes too, though, kind of like a pumpkin patch. So there's some little ones, some big ones. And maybe if you have a family of a certain size, you want to make sure you make a certain number. So keep that in mind too. So if you need to make more, then just make them a little bit smaller. And what I'm doing now is I'm down to the bottom, the end of my pot. So it's a little bit harder to get it all together. So I'm using my sturdy wood spoon to scrape it all into one spot. Then I'll use my hands to finish it off. Okay, last one for me. And I'm gonna stick it all together. So far, again, none of my pumpkins are coming apart. That happened to me the first time. And then I just, like I said, stuck them back together. So it's okay if they do. But this is why we wanted to make sure we added more popcorn when we had the chance. So then I ended up with this little bitty piece at the end that I don't want to go to waste. So I can either like just make like a little mini ball that's going to be a snack, or I can redistribute it to my others. Does somebody have a question?
Yes.
Yes, what can I do for you?
I ran out of my sticks and I only have leaves left, and I still have some cheese popcorn in my bowl.
Okay, so you have popcorn and you have leaves, but you don't have stems. So you can either, if you have another cowtail to make more stems, you can do that either now or a little bit later. Or you can just form a little ball without a stem. Some pumpkins have really short stems that you don't see. And you'll see when you add your leaf, look, it still looks like a pumpkin. So you can make some without your stems too. Good question. Okay, so I ended up with 9 actually. I didn't get 10, I got 9. And they're all look like a happy little pumpkin patch. Oh, Ariana, those look great. Awesome job. You did 12? Nice. Oh, wow. Aces look great too. Awesome. You got a lot out of those. Okay, my hands are all sticky, marshmallowy, oily. So I am all done forming mine. So now is when I'm going to wash my hands really good. So I'm just going to take a break at the sink for a minute. At the same time, I'm going to get this soaking. So, if you're worried about dishes, get that soaking. And the hot water will make it come off pretty easy. So. Okay, is anybody still forming popcorn balls? Somebody have a question? Theodore, do you have a question? No? Caitlin, those look great. I see you're a step ahead. So that's going to be our next step is we're going to put on our leaves. So now that I've got washed hands, I'm just going to stick my leaf in. And so I'm just like using the pointy edge here to just kind of stick it in with my stem. Or you could try to like stick it kind of to your stem. Mine's not really that sticky, this kind of candy. So I'm just kind of sticking it more into the popcorn, okay? So you're using the popcorn the same way you used it with the stem to hold your leaf in place. Try to, if you can, stick your candy against your pretzel or whatever you're using for your stem. If you can't, and just stick it into the popcorn and the popcorn will help it stay. Right. I like how these all kind of look unique. They have their own little pumpkin personality. Okay, see? For me, I've got 2 more stems, 2 more leaves to do. There we go. I would love to see them when they're all done. I know you guys showed me some already.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Do we put 2 stems on the pumpkins?
2 stems?
Yes. These.
You can just do, oh, 2 leaves?
Yes, 2 leaves.
I'm just doing 1, but you could put 2, especially if you have extra, a little way to give it a little bit more personality if you want your pumpkin to have 2 leaves, because pumpkins have more than 1 leaf sometimes.
Yes.
So yeah, you could. So yeah, you can do 2 if you want to. So I just have 1, but you can do as many as you'd like. Because they really do look like a little pumpkin patch here, because we've got, you know, they all look a little bit different and unique. So I see Issa's, they look great. Do you put in the fridge? You don't have to, actually. I actually left mine out on the counter wrapped up, you know, not exposed. You can put them in the fridge if you're going to keep them a little bit longer. They do have the butter in it, but they stay, they stay okay on the counter as well, either in a Tupperware or wrapped up. And this is my little trick for getting them to stay. If you're having a hard time, if you have a little bit too much marshmallow and they're falling apart, if you take a small piece of parchment paper and put it around it, and then use saran wrap. So you'll like crunch it all together and use saran wrap, and that way wrap it nice and tight, and that will help your pumpkin stay in a nice little ball without falling apart. And so even if you're going to eat them a little bit later, you might want to do that, so that way you have a nice little tight pumpkin ball. Yes. Thank you, Theodore. Oh, you're welcome, Theodore and Julie. I'd love to, before everybody signs off, to just get a picture with everybody's pumpkins. If you can hold up, even if you're still working, if you can hold up one that you've made or the whole tray, amazing. I'm gonna take a picture, 1, 2, 3. If you're in it, smile. Great job, everybody. Those look great. I love how everybody's looks unique and they look delicious. So everybody enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Let me know if you have any questions in the last minute, and then we'll sign off. Looks great, Caitlin. I hope they taste great. So everybody, you can eat them now. They don't need to do anything, or you can wait a little bit later until it's time for dessert and treats. So whatever you want to do. You're all welcome so much. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Halloween. I hope to see you at our next class, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.